joining us for another Adventures in Fly Tying with your friends from FlyFishOhio.com. I'm your host, Joe Cornwall. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 4. Today we have a really neat fly for you. Today we're going to tie Bully's Bluegill Spider. Now this was from the Wilson's books on fly fishing for bluegill, and it's a drop bait. It's really designed to have its most action as it's falling through the water column. So it has a couple of unique features, but it's a very simple fly tied with just 3 materials. Take a look at this. This is fantastic. It's a simple chenille body, white rubber legs, and a head made out of thread. And you can do this in a lot of different colors. Late in the season, my favorite is a pink, hot pink body with white rubber legs. In the middle of the summer, I prefer a black body with black legs. Kind of a year-round version is this brown body with an orange head and white rubber legs. Very, very simple pattern to tie. We're going to tie this on a Mustad 3366 bass hook, which is a ring eye hook. And the first thing that I want to do when I put that hook into the vise is debarb it. Just go ahead and close the vise on that barb and that'll bring it right down. Now, you'll notice that's about the size of an ordinary wet fly hook, and you can use an ordinary wet fly or even a dry fly hook if you have it. You don't have to get this specific hook, but it is an inexpensive hook that's perfect for this. One of the unique things about the way this fly is tied is the way that it's weighted. We're going to start by putting our lead wire, and this is a .020, about the middle point. We're going to wind back just like we would start a wrap of thread over itself and make a double layer so we have a little ball of lead wire back there. Now the reason for that, as soon as I pull this off here I'll tell you, is because I want this to be weighted at the bend of the hook. I want all the weight to be back where the back end of the hook is so that this actually falls tail down. Because here's what's going to happen. The fly is weighted in the back. You want it to fall through the water column this way so these legs come up and move as the fly is falling. Hence a drop bait. That's how we want to fish this. Once we've got that in place, we're going to use here, this is a flat wax nylon, and this is a fluorescent fire orange, or you can use an ordinary orange or black, whatever color you want, but I love orange for bluegills, 140 denier, which is a 6/0. Now, when you're tying with lead, take a wrap around your little finger like that, hold your thumbnail on the back of the lead, begin wrapping a small ramp in front. Your thumbnail is going to hold that lead there so that you can climb the thread right up onto the lead. Now I'm using my hand to hold that thread tight, and that prevents the winding thread from actually going into the lead. Now you can see that I've secured that lead onto that hook shank so that it won't move. And I can go ahead and build a good firm underbody for it. You don't have to worry if it's a little lumpy because we're going to cover it with chenille. Now you can use a lot of different things for the body. What I'm going to be using is a worm brown ultra chenille or a vernille, just like you'd use for a San Juan worm. You could use an ordinary chenille. I don't like to use the sparkle or cactus chenilles because I think that bluegill are put off by things that are a little bit too bright. Tie that in towards the front of the hook. Begin wrapping back to cover that lead. When I get to the back end of the hook, I'm going to start going forward and I'm going to make a double layer and then come off the front of that lead so that I have almost a reverse carrot taper, so it's thicker in the back than it is in the front. Almost teardrop shape or bean shaped, so that it's going to drop that tail first. 1 or 2 or 3 wraps of thread will secure that vernille. We'll clip that out. Now, to tie the legs in correctly, a little bit different technique that we use. I'm using a white rubber leg material that you can buy by the yard. You can also use, by the way, you can also use spinnerbait skirts. And I do this for a lot of different flies that I tie. Go down to the hardware store, the bass fishing hardware stores, and go into the spinnerbait section. You can get a lot of really neat color spinnerbaits with very, very fine strands. Use those for fly tying. They work very well also. I'm going to take a single strand that you see here. I'll double it over. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that in half. Really, that's more than enough leg material. I just want to leave it long enough to make it easy to tie in. Now, taking one piece, I'm going to hold it right over the top. Just take a loose pinch wrap and wind back towards the lead so that that stands straight out. Now I'm going to take that loose end from the front, fold it back on the side, and take a wrap over itself so that stands out literally at 90-degree angles to each other. You can see one is on one side and one is on the top. I want to do the same thing on this side. Take the first one, take a loose pinch wrap, once that pinch wrap's got that in with just the one wrap, take another wrap to lock it, bring the remainder of the rubber leg underneath. Lock that in. Now sweep them back. Tie a neat thread head. You want to tie right back so that you're really forcing those legs right against that chenille body so they stand out. Now we can go ahead and do a quick whip finish on that. It's not necessary to glue these. In fact, the Wilsons in their book actually suggest that glue is something that bluegill can actually sense, that they can smell the chemicals, and that actually might be a deterrent. So they don't recommend actually gluing the head of the fly. I don't think it's necessary because these flies simply don't fall apart. Now, take all 4 of the legs, bring them forward. You want to trim this so it's about the length of the hook. Bully's bluegill spider. Isn't that a fantastic fly? What a neat little pattern. I'm going to get out there. Once again, this is a drop pattern. Oop, and it dropped just there. A drop pattern that's going to fish by coming down through the water column like that. It's just going to come straight down. These legs are going to open up, provide a lot of action for the bluegill. They just can't resist this. What a fantastic fly. Thanks for joining us on Adventures in Fly Tying with Fly Fish Ohio. Join us on the web, www.flyfishohio.com.